Hello and welcome to Age Well Yoga. I'm Sue, and in this 60-minute gentle flow, we're going to be concentrating on loosening up our hips, having our hips be more open, and also having looseness and relaxation in the pelvis area. So we're actually going to be working in the second chakra today, the Sacral Chakra, and you find that just below your navel. So if you were to put your hand on your navel and then think about 3 finger widths below your navel, that's where your sacral chakra is. And that's the seat of creativity, enjoyment, connection with others, and also the flow of energy, the flow of fluids through your body, and the flow of life. It's wonderful to have that ability to be able to flow with life rather than to be struggling against it. So tonight what we're going to do in our practice is actually flow through the poses with our breath. And always, as I say at the beginning of class, please do what's right in your body today. Just do what's comfortable and don't go to the point of pain. If you feel tired at any stage, just rest like this or lying on your mat and then rejoin us when you're refreshed. So today we're going to get started in an easy seat, sitting cross-legged on a cushion, to raise your backside off the ground and allow your hips and knees to soften. And today, have your left hand on your abdomen and your right hand on your chest to start with. And you might like to look down at the ground or even close your eyes completely. As we start to focus in on our breath, on the abdomen, the chest and the shoulders expanding as we breathe in, and relaxing and softening as we breathe out. Inhaling, breathing in beautiful, fresh, clean energy, and exhaling anything that no longer serves us. Taking a deep inhale. Inhale up to the top of your chest, and then just hold it there for a minute, and then breathe in a little bit further. And open your lips and sigh it out. Feeling your shoulders relax as you do. And as we go through practice tonight, we'll connect in with our breath with each movement. And if you find your mind wandering, bring it back to your breath. And now just gently having your hands next to you, palms up. You might like to flutter your eyes open. Inhale, stretch your arms out to the side and up overhead, palms facing, palms together, and exhale, palms to heart center. Inhaling, stretching your arms out to the side, up overhead, stretching through the side body, then palms together, exhaling as your hands come to heart center. Inhale, stretching your arms out to the side, up overhead, and this time exhale, just twisting slightly to the right, keeping your hands above your head. And then inhaling back to center, and exhaling, looking to the left. Inhaling to center, and exhaling, dropping your left hand to the outside of your right knee and your right hand behind you. Just gently looking over your right shoulder. Inhale and stretch your crown of your head up to the sky. And exhale, just look a little bit further over your right shoulder. Inhale, stretching your arms up and come back to center. And exhale, round to the other side. Right hand on the outside of your left knee and your left hand behind you. Looking over your left shoulder. Inhale and stretch the crown of your head up towards the sky. And exhale, looking a little bit further over your shoulder. Inhale, stretching your hands up above your head, coming to center. And exhale, dropping your right hand to the mat and leaning over to the right. Left fingers point towards the right side, anchoring through your sit bones, stretching through your left side body and looking towards the front. Inhale, stretching up both hands above your head, and exhale, left hand to the mat, right fingers point to the left. And again, stretching through the side body. Inhale, stretching up, hands above the head, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, stretch your hands out to the side, up overhead. And this time, exhale and sweep your hands behind you and clasp them behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades and elbows together and just look diagonally up at the ceiling, feeling that stretch in your front side body. Breathe in here, exhale and just lower your shoulders. And on the next inhale, sweep your hands wide up above your head. And then exhale, rain your hands forward. Inhale, stretch a little bit further forward. And exhale, tuck your chin in towards your chest, looking towards your navel. Take a deep breath here, breathing through the back body. And then inhale, stretching your hands forward, above your head. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Now without touching your legs, see if you can recross your legs the other way. And we'll do those again, going to the left side first. Inhale, stretching your arms out to the side, up overhead, and looking to the left first of all as you exhale. Inhale to center, and exhale to the right. Inhale to center, and then right hand to left knee, looking over your left shoulder as you drop your left hand behind you. Inhale, stretching the spine up, and exhale, looking further over your left shoulder. Inhale, stretching your arms up and looking to center, and then exhale, twisting to the right, left hand on the outside of your right knee, right hand drops behind you, looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, and stretching your crown up towards the sky. And exhale, look a little bit further over your shoulder. Inhale, stretch your hands up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, stretch your arms out to the side, up overhead. And this time sweep them to the back and have the alternate clasp. Squeezing your shoulder blades and elbows together, looking up at the ceiling, and you might just notice the difference it makes having your legs crossed the other way. Inhale, stretch your hands out to the side, up overhead, and then rain them down as you exhale to the ground in front of you. Inhale, stretch forward, and exhale, curling your chin in towards your chest, looking towards your navel. Deep breath through the back body, and relax here. Inhale, stretch your hands forward and above your head, hands together, and exhale, palms to heart center. Wonderful. Now we'll go on to all fours for some cat-cow to warm up the spine. So your wrists are underneath your shoulders and your knees are directly underneath your hips, toes pointing straight back. Spread your fingers wide and just press through the fingertips to take some pressure off your wrists, And try and squeeze your little finger towards your thumb and your thumb towards your little finger so you almost dome your hands. Inhale and draw a line up with your nose as you drop the belly towards the mat, hips to the sky for cow. And exhale for cat. Navel to spine, pushing the ground away from you. Inhale for cow, shining your heart space forward. And exhale for cat, tucking in your tailbone, rounding through the upper body. Inhale for cow, broad across the collarbones. And exhale for cat, navel to spine and chin to chest. And inhale, this time make circles as you're going into your cat and your cow. Make circles with your hip. So activating that pelvic area. It's a circle over your hips. Excuse me. And over your wrists. That feels great. And then come back to neutral spine tabletop. Put your big toes together and have your knees out as wide as your mat. And with your hands about shoulder width apart, just stretch them forward on the mat as you lower your chest and your face towards the mat. And rest your forehead on the mat, or you might like to put hands on top of each other and rest your forehead on that. Push into your hands, descending your hip bones towards your heels. And then inhale and just raise your head slightly and walk your hands to the right. And have your left hand over your right hand. And just stretch that left side body. Inhale and walk your hands back to center. And then exhale and walk your hands to the left. And this time have your right hand over your left hand. And feel the stretch in your right side body. Anchoring your right hip back towards your right heel. Inhale and come back to center. Just take a couple of moments here, resting your forehead on your hands or on the mat. And notice the stretch of your shoulders. You might like to rock your forehead from side to side on the mat or on your hands, just massaging the space between your eyebrows, your third eye. And let go of anything that has or hasn't happened today, this week, and this month. And then come back to stillness. Take a breath through your back body, expanding your ribs and noticing the space there. Inhaling and expanding, and then exhaling as you melt a little further into the floor. Inhale and expand, and exhale, just melt a little bit further into your mat. On your next inhale, raise your head and move your torso forward, keeping your forearms on the ground, and then actually come up onto your hands. So you're in a plank pose in your top of your body, but you've still got your big toes touching and your knees towards the back of them, towards the sides of the mat. And then exhale, coming back into that reclined pose, head to the floor. Inhale, coming up again into a supported plank, knees wide, big toes touching. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, you can roll up your mat, or you might like to put a folded blanket under your knees. And exhale, coming back into a reclined position, child's pose. Inhale, coming up to tabletop. Hands are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Tuck in your toes. Inhale again, and on your exhale, raise your hips up to the sky for the first downward dog of the day. Have a bend in your knees while we warm up your hamstrings. So bend in your right knee all towards the chest, left heel starts to descend to the mat. And then alternate, left knee comes towards the chest, right heel to the mat. Take a few more like that, walking your dog and stretching out your hamstrings and your glutes. Oh, it feels so good. And then settle back into your downward facing dog, your heels disappearing behind your feet. Have gentle bend in your knees if that's what suits you. Pressing through your fingertips, dropping your head and chest towards the mat, and rolling the eyes of your elbows outwards to broaden across your shoulders, and navel to spine. Inhale and stretch your right leg up towards the sky, toes pointing to the ground. And exhale, round your back knee to nose. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And exhale, bring your right knee towards your right wrist and rest your right shin on the ground. Untuck your left toes. And you will be in reclined pigeon pose. So your hips are parallel with the ground. Your right knee is by your right wrist and you are balancing on your two hands with your fingers still spread wide. Reclined pigeon. So just have your, half pigeon I should say. Just have your chest broad, looking forward, and concentrate on your breath. Softening through the pelvis, the hip bones. And inhale, tucking in your left toes. Straighten your left leg and push up through your hands back into downward facing dog. Half pigeon on the left side. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky, toes pointing down, and exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg goes up to the sky, and exhale, your knee comes forward to your left wrist. So your left knee is by your left wrist. Stretch your right leg back long, untucking your toes. And again, broad through the collarbones, looking forward for half pigeon on the left side. If you feel tension in your body, send your breath to that place. Tuck your right toes in and raise your right knee. Inhale and exhale, push back into downward facing dog. And walk your feet towards your hands. And come into ragdoll. Opposite hand has opposite elbow, just hanging loosely. Your torso supported by your thighs, a bend in your knees, and just sway from side to side here.
stretching out the hamstrings a little bit more and the lower back. Just nod your head to release the neck. And then let your hands flop down to the ground. Tuck your chin towards your chest. And on the inhale, slowly come up to standing, vertebrae by vertebrae. Place your mind in your spine and notice how you roll up slowly to standing. Excuse me, wonderful. Today we're going to do a few hip circles. So just standing with our feet about hip width apart, hands on the hips, and bending the legs just a little bit, and then just creating circles with our hips, forward and back. Just activating that seat of creativity, connection, and activating emotional balance, expression, and the flow of life. When you've gone a few in one direction, go in the other direction. Big circles with your hips. You might find one leg likes it better than the other, or one hip likes it better than the other. Wonderful. Great. Now coming to the top of your mat, into mountain pose, Tadasana. Your legs can be hip width apart, or they can be touching, or something in between. Grounding through the four corners of your feet. The base of your little toe, base of your big toe, and the two corners of your heels. Your thighs are pressing back. Tailbone is stretching down towards the ground. You're tucking your ribs in, broad across the collarbones, palms facing forward. Chin is tucked towards the chin is tucked in slightly, and you're creating space in your spine. And again, the crown of your head is stretching up towards the sky, creating space. Sun salutation A. Inhale, stretch your hands out to the side, take up space, and have them overhead facing. And then exhale, rain your hands down, hinging at the hips as you stretch forward into forward fold. And have a bend in your knees if that serves you. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on your shins or your thighs and your body parallel with the floor. Exhale, forward fold. Place your hands either side of your feet and step back into dog pose. Hips high to the sky, chest tracking towards the mat, broad across the shoulders. Inhale and exhale, drop your knees towards the mat and come into a supported plank. So your shoulders are over your wrists and you're looking just in front of you at the floor, rounding through the upper body, pushing the earth away from you and tucking your navel towards the spine. Inhale and stretch your crown forward, and exhale, tuck your elbows in towards your ribs and slowly lower down to the ground. Chaturanga, supported chaturanga, and then go all the way down to the ground. Press through the tops of your feet so the knees come off the mat. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale and slowly peel your head and your shoulders off the mat for a baby cobra. Elbows tucked into the ribs. And exhale, coming down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, head and shoulders off the mat, just looking forward. Crown stretching up, not back. And exhale, coming back to the mat. Tuck in your toes, pushing up through your hands as you inhale And then exhale, coming back into downward facing dog. This time walking your hands towards your feet. Swaying in ragdoll, opposite hand, opposite elbow. Then inhale as you peel your spine upwards, vertebrae by vertebrae. Chin coming off the chest last. Fantastic. Coming to the front of your mat. Inhale, stretching out to the side, hands above your head. And exhale, rain your hands down, hinging from the hips. Plant your hands either side of your feet, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Stretching through your tailbone and the crown of your head, one long line. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands either side of your feet and step back into dog pose. Really strong in your dog pose. Inhale, and on the exhale, drop your knees to the mat and come forward into supported plank. Shoulders are over your hands, pressing through your fingertips. Inhale here, and on the exhale, tuck your elbows towards your ribs and slowly lower down to the mat. Pressing through the tops of your feet, the knees come off the mat, pressing your pelvis into the ground. Inhale and peeling up for cobra. And exhale and down. Inhale again for cobra. Broad through your collarbones. And exhale, come down. Inhale as you push through your hands, tuck in your toes and come back up to downward facing dog. This time walking your hands towards your feet and slowly rolling up to standing. Coming to the front of your mat for sun salutation B. So standing in Tandasana, mountain pose. Inhale, stretch your hands wide out to the side, up overhead. And exhale, raining your hands forward and down as you bend from the hips for forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift, stretching your spine long. And exhale for forward fold. Plant your hands either side of your legs, feet, and step back into dog pose. Inhale and raise your right leg up to the sky, toes pointing downwards. Exhale, knee to nose, right knee to nose, rounding through the back. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. And exhale, knee to nose, and then step your foot all the way through in between your hands. You might need to go have a couple of goes or move your hand to get there. So now your right foot is framed by your hands and your right leg is in a square, so your knee is over your right ankle. Your left leg is flat on the mat at 45 degrees. Just take a breath here as you get situated and stable. If you find that you wobble in standing poses, you can have your feet on parallel beams as opposed to one beam. Just spread them out as much as you need to keep balance. Inhale and hover your torso above your right thigh and spread your hands backwards towards the back of your mat, pointing towards the back of your mat by your hips. And exhale here.
Inhale and sweep your hands forward, pointing forward, and then come up. The torso comes up and the hands are above your head. Warrior One. So your right leg is in a square. Your left leg is straight. Tucking in the right hip and bringing the left side body forward so that your hips are parallel with the front of the mat. Grounding through your left heel. Inhale, stretch your arms up, and exhale, cactus the arms so the upper arms are parallel with the mat. Yep. Inhale, stretch up, and exhale, have your hands cactus shape. Inhale, stretch up, and this time on the exhale, straighten your front leg. Keep your hands where they are and straighten your front leg. Inhale, stretch your hands up, and exhale, bring your hands to your hips. So your front leg is straight. Your hips are parallel with the front of the mat. Inhale, stretch your spine up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, just bend forward, folding over your right leg just a little bit until you find your balance starts to get too wobbly. So just stretching your crown forward. Feel that stretch in your right hip. Your right hip is tracking back and your left hip is tracking forward. Modified pyramid pose. Inhale, stretching your torso up. And exhale, bend your right leg. Inhale, stretch your arms out wide and above your head. Back to Warrior One. And exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, stretch your hands above your head, and exhale, rain your hands down to frame your right foot. Plant your hands down firmly, point your left toes forward, inhale, and on the exhale, step back into downward facing dog. Well done. Now we'll do Warrior One on the other side. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky, toes pointing down. And exhale, come into knee to nose, rounding through the back. Inhale, left leg to the sky. And exhale, step your left foot forward and in between your hands. So your left foot is framed by your hands. Excuse me. And your right foot, turn it so it's at 45 degrees and it's flat on the mat. Your left leg is in a square. Inhale and exhale here. Inhale, pushing your torso forward so it's hovering over your thigh, pointing your hands back by your hips so they're pointing towards the back of your mat. Inhale. And inhale and point your hands forward and above your head. Your left leg is in a square. Make sure that your left leg is in line with your middle toes. Your left hip is tucked under, tracking back, and your right side body is tracking forward, so your hips are parallel with the front of the mat. Knit your ribs down so that you protect your lower back. Inhale, stretch your hands way up, stretching through the side body, and exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, stretch your arms up, and exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, stretch your arms up, and this time exhale and bring your hands down to your hips. Just checking that your hips are still parallel with the front of the mat. Inhale, stretch your crown up towards the sky, and exhale, push your front leg so it's straight. Inhale, stretch your body up, And exhale, bending at the hips, start to bend over your left leg. Only go as far as is comfortable, keeping your hips parallel with the front of the mat. Inhale to bring your torso up, and exhale to bring your left leg back into a square. Inhale, stretch your arms out overhead, back to warrior one on the left side, and then exhale, raining your hands down to frame your left foot. Inhale, push through the hands. Exhale, step back into dog pose. Take a couple of breaths here in dog pose. And walk your feet towards your hands and roll your spine up vertebrae by vertebrae until you are standing. And just roll your shoulders out one way and then the other. Well done, good work. Now we come and do some floor work, so sitting on the floor with the soles of our feet together, Baddha Konasana. So clasp your hands together and hold your feet together if that's comfortable for you. If that's not comfortable, you can always have your feet out a little bit further and hold onto your shins or the part of your legs just below your knees. So clasping your hands around your feet if that serves you, and just basically butterflying your knees down towards the ground. Tucking in your chin nice and long through the spine, shoulders away from the ears, creating a little bit of a stretch there as well. And then just find stillness. And then inhale and exhale, bring your elbows towards your shins and lean forward towards your feet. Take a few breaths here, breathing through your back body. Inhale, sitting up, and then stretch your right leg out to the side, your left leg out to the side. So they're at sort of 90 degrees or wider. That's our aim. And just take any flesh that's around your sit bones away from your sit bones so you can sit up nice and tall and your pelvis isn't rounded. Just really feel that connection with the ground. Inhale, stretch your arms up overhead, and exhale, bring them down into the center. You may like to put your hands on the ground, you may be able to put your forearms on the ground. It just depends on your body shape and your flexibility at this stage. Inhale and move your hands towards your right leg. You can have your right hand on the outside of your right leg and your left hand just on the inside. Exhale here. Inhale and walk your hands back to center, and then go to the left. And exhale on the left side. Inhale back to center, walking your hands back to center. And exhale, and just go a little bit deeper here. Toes pointing towards your shins. Looking towards your navel. Inhale and come up. And bend your right leg so that your sole of your foot is against your left thigh. You may be able to get your heel quite close to your groin, it just depends on how flexible you are. Anywhere along the leg is good. Inhale, stretch your arms out to the side, up overhead. Then exhale, look to your left leg, look along your left leg, and exhale as you bend down towards your left leg. And just allow your hands to land wherever is suitable for you. It might be next to your left thigh, just on the either side of your knee, but don't get hold of your knee, we don't want to hurt the knee. Down at your shins, or you may be able to get hold of your foot. But the most important thing is to keep your chest broad. We don't want to be rounding through the back. So lead with the chest and the chin. Take a couple of breaths here, and on the exhale, see if you can soften down. So broaden on your inhale through the chest, and on the exhale, soften from the hips downwards. Inhale and broaden, and exhale to soften. Stretch your hands long, your arms long, inhale and coming up to center, and hands to heart center, exhaling. We'll go the other side. So the left sole of the left foot is next to the right thigh. Inhaling and stretching your hands out and up overhead. Exhaling, turning to the right, and exhaling, raining your hands down and allowing them to drop wherever is comfortable for you. Have your right toes pointing upwards or towards your shins. And as you inhale, broaden through the chest, chin leading. And on the exhale, just soften at the hip area. Working with the hips and that sacral area. Just activating our creativity. On the inhale, broaden through the chest. And on the exhale, soften through the hips. Inhale, stretch your arms out and up overhead, and exhale, hands to heart center. We'll go the other side again. So left leg is stretched out, right foot is next to the left thigh, and this time we're going to take a twist. So inhale, stretch your hands out to the side and up above your head, and then exhale and lay your left hand and arm along your left thigh, the inside of your left thigh, hand facing upwards, and your right arm points to the left, points towards your left toes. So your right upper arm is by your right ear, and you can just use your hand and arm on the inside of your left leg just to sort of lever yourself to twist a little bit so you can look under your arm. Only go as far as is comfortable. Inhale, stretching up, and exhale, hands to heart center. Now while we're on this side, plant your right hand next to you on the floor. Step your left leg in line and have your foot flat on the floor. And come up on your right knee. So your right knee is pointing, for me, it's on the side of my mat. So your left foot, your right knee and your right hand are in line. Inhale, stretch your left hand overhead so it's pointing to the right. Wild thing. Feel the stretch through your left hip, left side body. In fact, all the way from your left heel to your left fingertips. Inhale, stretch long, and exhale, coming back down to sitting. And now we'll swap sides. The right leg is stretched out wide. The left foot is in towards the thigh or the groin. Inhale, stretching your hands out to the side, up overhead. And exhale, drop your right arm inside your right thigh and knee, palm facing up. Exhale and stretch your left hand towards your right toes. So your left upper arm is by your left ear when you're looking under your arm. You can use your right arm against your right thigh to just allow you to twist a little bit further. But don't press against your knee. You don't want to aggravate the knee. Inhale and just send your breath to anywhere that might be grabbing, that's tense. Might be your jaw, your thigh, your knee, or your side body. Inhale, coming up, hands to center and hands to heart center. So we'll go wild thing on this side. So put your left hand next to your left hip or out just slightly. Place your right foot on your mat, flat on your mat in line with your hand. And then bring your left knee so it's also in a line. So you have your left hand, your left knee and your right foot in line and your left leg points backwards. Inhale, stretch your right hand up overhead and extend it pointing to the left. And feel the stretch through your right side body. You can look up straight ahead or look up at the sky. Inhale, stretch long, and exhale, bring your hand back to the right and come back down to sitting. Well done. Now sitting sitting with our hands behind us, our soles of our feet on the ground, hip width apart. I was going to say shoulder width apart, hip width apart, and just windshield your knees back and forth as far as you like. Just relaxing your legs, your hips. Back and forth as far as you can go. Wonderful. And now coming into Tadasana, seated pose, staff pose, legs straight out in front, toes pointing towards the shins, hands on the mat, or if that's not comfortable, on your thighs, fingers pointing forwards. So feel the earth through your sit bones. Activate your core, so tucking your navel towards your spine, and broad through your chest, shoulder blades together and rolling down your back, long through the neck, and active in your legs. Dandasana, staff pose. Just notice how your body's feeling and just notice anything that's arising for you. Now we'll do an easy twist on the right side. So bringing your right foot to the mat, hugging your right knee in really tight. Foot is close to your left thigh. Stretch your left arm out to the side and then bring it around to hug your right knee in tightly to the chest. So your right thigh is in really tight to your chest. Inhale and stretch your right hand up above your head and then drop it behind you, looking that way as well, so looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, stretch up, and exhale, really squeeze your thigh into your body and start to twist a little further. And as we did at the beginning of class, as you inhale, start to lengthen the spine up And as you exhale, just see if you can look a little bit further over your right shoulder, twisting from your middle, not your neck. Inhale, stretching up, and exhale, looking a little bit further. Inhale, and leaving your legs where they are, bring your hands next to your left hip, framing your left hip for a small counter twist. And then bring both legs back down to Dandasana. Easy twist on the left side. Bring your left foot to the ground next to your right thigh. Inhale and stretch your right hand out and wrap it around your left thigh. Exhaling, squeeze it in tight. Inhale, stretch your left hand above your head and then drop it behind you, exhaling as you twist, looking over your left shoulder. So really squeeze the left thigh into your torso. Inhale long through the spine, creating space between each vertebrae. And exhale from the middle of the torso. Just twisting a little bit further. Remember to stay active through your right leg, toes pointing towards your shin. Inhale, stretching up. And exhale, softening into the twist. Inhale as you stretch up. And exhale to twist a little further. Inhale, keeping your legs where they are. Frame your right hip with your hands for a counter twist. And then exhale, both legs come straight down. Wonderful. Bridge pose. So lying back into a lying situation. Just get comfortable on your mat first of all. And then bend your knees and have your feet behind your buttocks, quite close in, about hip width apart. Just roll over to the left and tuck your right shoulder blade in towards the midline. Then roll over to the right and tuck your left shoulder blade in towards the midline. And come back to centre. Have your hands next to your hips, palms facing down. And just start to press with your hands, forearms and upper arms into the ground. Inhale and push through your heels and raise your hips up towards the sky for bridge pose. Long through your front body, raising your hips high, pressing through your arms. Take a couple of breaths here and inhale and stretch your body long. And exhale and relax your mouth. Inhale, and on the exhale, peel your spine back down to the floor, very consciously and slowly. Especially the lower back, until you're completely on the floor. And we'll do bridge pose one more time. So pressing through your hands, inhale, push through your heels, have your hips raising up to the sky, looking straight up at the ceiling, not at the sides, look straight up. And you may like to take your hands and clasp them together under your body and pull tightly, one hand against the other, as you still raise your hips up to the sky. Take 2 breaths here. If you had your hands clasped, put them back on the ground, palms down.
Inhale and then peel your vertebrae one by one back down to the ground. Just untuck your shoulder blades with your feet still on the floor. Have your hands out or your arms out in a T shape, so parallel or in line with your shoulders. Inhale and drop both knees to the left and look to the right for an easy supine twist. Breathing through the right side body. Start to notice your breath as we begin the cool down. Looking at your right hand, softening through your right hip. Inhale, navel to spine, and have both knees come back up to center. And exhale, drop both knees to the right. Looking at your left hand. Just notice the space in between your ribs on your left side. Try and fill up that space with air as you breathe in. And soften through your left hip as you breathe out. Inhale and bring both legs back to center. Have your knees next to your chest. Clasp your hands around your shins. You may like to rock from side to side, massaging your back. Send your left leg long along the mat and just hug your right knee in towards your chest. You may like to take it over towards your armpit and circle your foot, your toes, one way, big circles. And then the other way. Nice big circles. And then bring your left leg in to match your right and hug both knees in. Send your right leg long and hug your right thigh in towards your chest. Nice and tight. Massaging your internal organs and then out towards your left armpit. And circle your left toes. Nice big circles one way and then the other way. And then send both legs long. Make any final adjustments before we start Shavasana. Allowing your feet to drop out to the side. Your hands, palms up, relaxed at your side. And visualize your body relaxing as we go through this body scan. Feet and ankles relax. Calves and knees relax. Thighs and hips relax. Pelvis relaxes down. Hands and wrists relax. Forearms and elbows relax. Upper arms and shoulders relax. Shoulders relax down, melting into the mat.
abdomen relaxes down. Chest relaxes. Throat relaxes. The jaw and tongue are soft. Draw your lips back from your teeth and then place them in a gentle smile. Raise your eyebrows up, stretching your scalp, and then relax them down. The eyes soften. The skin on the face softens. And as the body relaxes, so the mind follows. Stillness. If thoughts arise, allow them to pass like clouds in the sky. Bring your thoughts back to your breathing. Allow your body to be heavy, supported by the earth. And when you're ready, start to introduce some gentle movement. Graze your fingers with your thumbs. Wiggle your toes and ankles. You might like to stretch your limbs long. Before curling up into a ball, a tight ball, and rolling to one side, and just taking a moment there, allowing all the good work you've done to be integrated into your body. And then push up into an easy seat where we started. And just find your breath again. Those deep inhales and exhales, allowing you to connect with the forces around us, the flowing creativity that exists in everything around us. Inhale and place your hands at heart center. Exhale, we bow our thinking minds to our loving hearts in gratitude for practice today and everything that brought us to practice, including nature. And in gratitude for all the creativity that exists around us and within us. Be well and namaste.